5 years after the accident. In the Eaton Bar, in a corridor, on the empty top floor. Natalie had been drinking for the entire night to accompany some investors. Due to the intense headache, she felt her head was about to split into two. She wanted to find somewhere clean and quiet to sober up, but she had not expected that Lily Cooper would follow her. She could only gather up her spirit to deal with her and said with an annoyed tone, "Miss Cooper, is there something you want to say?" "Natalie Brown, let me ask you, did you register to audition for the female lead in Land Under Heaven?" she inquired. "Yes. Why?" Natalie replied. "You're not allowed to go tomorrow." Although Lily was her manager, she was stopping her from auditioning for this role that all the major entertainment companies were jostling for. Natalie was not at all surprised by this, and only raised her brows and asked, "Reason?" Lily was quick to reply, "You went behind my back and acted by yourself, and you still dare to ask me for the reason? Didn't you know that the company has already arranged for Nora Brown to audition?" "This doesn't seem to conflict with the company's arrangements," Natalie replied with a faint smile. "Nora made you come find me. Don't tell me she's afraid that I, a small-time actress whose name isn't even known, will snatch her role." Lily continued to argue, saying, "You think you have the ability to snatch Nora's role? You're still talking in your dreams. Let me tell you, don't waste your efforts. The Brown family has invested $30 million into this movie. Nora is already sitting securely in this role." "Then why are you anxious?" Natalie replied in a calming tone. "Since you're my artist, you have to listen to my arrangements," Lily said as if that was how it ought to be. "So, Miss Cooper still knows that I'm an artist under you?" Natalie said as if trying to taunt Lily. With a threatening tone, Lily said, "Natalie, I don't have the time to bicker with you, and since you're refusing to comply, don't blame me for resorting to force." As she finished speaking, Natalie was caught off guard and felt a strong blow from behind. She didn't have any time to react. She was pushed into the storeroom in the corner, and her phone was also taken away. With a bang, the door was heavily shut. The footsteps outside the door slowly drifted away. Knowing that shouting was useless, Natalie remained silent. Leaning against the door, she slid down to the floor with an indifferent expression. When she had first entered the company, Nora was still able to restrain herself and only ordered Lily Cooper to arrange for some villain roles at her most. However, she was growing bolder and was starting to go too far. She was even able to stoop that low to throw out such a tactic. If she failed to get the role this time, which already seemed impossible, then she had to find a way to leave North Star Entertainment. Amidst her messy thoughts, a small sound came from the other side of the storeroom. Was there a mouse? Natalie followed the direction of the sound and looked at the other corner of the room, and was stunned. She saw a little boy behind a stack of boxes. That little guy looked to be about 4 or 5. He looked like a finely carved jade piece, white, soft, like a little bun. He was currently shivering and hiding in the corner, his dark eyes filled with precaution and vigilance. Why would there be a child in a storeroom of a bar? There shouldn't be a customer so crazy as to bring their child to a bar, right? Natalie thought. She tried to start up some conversation and said, "Hey, little guy, who are you? How did you get in here? Did you sneak in?" And getting no response from the child, she tried again. "Were you also shut in here by someone? Do you eat sweets?" After questioning him for half the day, The child remained silent, but started shaking even more, as if he were a frightened little beast. Finally, Natalie did not bother continuing to speak. It had nothing to do with her anyway. The two of them, adult and child, thus peacefully occupied a corner each. At this moment, the light bulb above them flashed brightly, then went out. In the darkness, Natalie vaguely heard a chattering sound. After carefully listening for a bit, she realized that it was similar to the sound of teeth chattering. Natalie laughed in spite of herself and turned towards the little kid to say, "Scared of the dark, huh?" The chattering sound paused for a second before increasing in volume. "Oh, why is he so cowardly?" she thought to herself. Natalie stood up and patted her bottom, then walked towards the little guy.
Did you like this story? You can listen to thousands of such stories on the Pocket FM app. You can download the app now. Click on this icon on your screen, or click the drop-down icon right beside the video title. Or search for Pocket FM on the App Store on your iPhone. Now tap the Get button on your iPhone to install the app. Join millions of other listeners on the Pocket FM app and discover thousands of riveting stories today.